I'm just really excited. I'm lucky to be here, and to have been drafted here last year, and for this franchise for so many great resources in front of the WNBA is rocked by a seismic bombshell. Caitlin Clark, the league's blazing superstar, has signed jaw-dropping unrivaled agreement that's flipped the basketball world upside down. Fans are stunned and rivals are reeling as this game-changing deal sparks wild speculation. What's behind Clark's bold move? How will it reshape the WNBA future? Join us as we dive into the electrifying drama, unpack the shocking details, and reveal why this unprecedented agreement is sending shockwaves through the sports world. Caitlin Clark's unrivaled secret deal shakes up women's basketball. It all began with a whisper that spread like wildfire. Caitlin Clark might have signed something no one was supposed to know about. Fans had barely adjusted to her explosive rookie season with the Indiana Fever before talk surfaced that she was quietly being courted by Unrivaled, the bold new startup league hoping to change the face of women's basketball forever. The story seemed too wild to believe. After all, didn't Unrivaled already boasts nearly a full roster? Why chase Clark so late in the game? And yet here we are with rumors swirling of a deal that has the power to rewrite the balance of women's hoops. The drama escalated when insiders hinted at a Messi-level offer being placed on the table. Yes, that's right, numbers being compared to Lionel Messi's historic sports contract. If true, this isn't just about money, it's about turning Clark into the centerpiece of a movement. Brianna Stewart, one of Unrivaled founders, is said to have played a quiet but decisive role, reaching out personally while keeping everyone else in the dark. Imagine the shock for players like Angel Resort and Joe Wilson, who believed they were the untouchable stars of this new chapter, only to learn Clark may have been handed the golden key behind closed doors. But what does this mean for the league's future? Some fans have pointed out the strange timing. Unrivaled has already secured most of its lineup, so why scramble for Clark now? Others suggest the league underestimated the gravity of her presence. After all, no rookie in recent memory has attracted this level of attention, from packed arenas to sold-out jersey. As Clark has become the face of modern women's basketball almost overnight, could Unrivaled survive without her? The answer, it seems, was no. And that's why this deal feels less like a surprise and more like an inevitable play. What makes this story even juicier is Clark's own subtle response. She has hinted that those celebrating her absence from Unrivaled may have spoken too soon. If true, her entry into the league could instantly elevate it beyond mere experiment into a cultural milestone. And yet the secrecy, the whispers, and the behind-the-scenes maneuvering give the whole situation the feel of a spy thriller. A non-disclosure agreement here, a private call there. Suddenly basketball gossip feels more like an episode of political drama. Meanwhile, the WNBA looks on. The league now, in its 28th season, has fought for years to gain mainstream recognition, but its momentum still struggles compared to men's sports. The arrival of a rookie like Clark offered a rare chance at viral reach. Attendance numbers of already surged by over 50%, yet now another league is knocking at her door. Could a potential move signal a new era where women's basketball isn't just about competition, but about choice, power, and leverage? Speculation continues and nothing is confirmed. Still, one thing is certain: Caitlin Clark has become the hottest name in women's sports, and wherever she decides to plant it flag, whether with the Fever, the WNBA, or Unrivaled, the entire basketball world will be forced to pay attention. But what really sparked Caitlin Clark's $75 million shock deal? Was it loyalty, strategy, or something fans never saw? Stay with us to find out. Caitlin Clark's $75 million shock deal leaves women's basketball stunned. Whispers began to swell, rumors of a contract so massive it could flip the women's basketball world upside down. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation who already turned arenas into sold-out spectacles, was suddenly tied to a figure that seemed almost impossible to believe: $75 million, not just for playing ball, but for becoming the very face of Unrivaled, the ambitious and new league designed to rival the WNBA and rewrite the rules of the game. The number alone was staggering. To put it in perspective, Joe Wilson, the reigning WNBA MVP, earns about $230,000 annually. That's an incredible salary by many standards. but compared to Clock's alleged deal, it feels like pocket change. Could one rookie really deserve that kind of money? Or was Unrivaled simply betting the entire house on a single player who had proven she could capture headlines, audiences, and global attention like no other? What makes this situation even more intriguing is how quietly it was handled. Brianna Stewart, one of the masterminds behind Unrivaled, reportedly wanted Clock's involvement kept under wraps. The idea was to create suspense, build anticipation, and drop the news like a bombshell, but secrecy carries risks. Other players, once learning about the room at figure, might feel overlooked or left out. After all, veterans who have fought for every bit of recognition might wonder why a newcomer is suddenly being offered superstar money and global perks they've never seen before. Yet it seems Unrivaled had more than just Clock's signature in mind. Alongside the contract, whispers suggest endorsement packages, guaranteed television spots, and promises of expansion beyond American borders. The aim to create not just a league, but a movement, one that could generate new revenue streams and finally give women's basketball players the financial respect they've long sought. The media world is already reacting. TNT Sports, according to reports, has struck a deal with Unrivaled forever. 45 prime-time games across 6 years, with a package valued at more than $100 million. Visibility brings power, and when compared to the WNBA's average of around 657,000 viewers per game and 2024 Unrivaled gamble on Clock starts to look less like wild spending and more like a calculated strategy. Will Clock truly become the face of a league still finding its footing? Or is this all smoke and mirrors to generate buzz? One thing is clear: women's basketball is evolving fast, and whether the deal is as huge as rumored or not, Caitlin Clark has already proven she can make the entire sport stop, listen, and wonder. But what sparked this golden deal in women's basketball, and who really benefits? Continue watching. Golden Deal stirs up excitement and tension in women's basketball. Fans can feel it every time Caitlin Clark steps on the court. There's an energy that wasn't there before. Crowds are louder, arenas are fuller, and social media seems to light up the moment her name appears. Her eyes hasn't just been about her three-point shots or flashy assists, it's about what she represents: a fresh spotlight on women's basketball. Yet behind the cheers and the record-breaking ticket sales, a storm may be brewing, one that speaks to something bigger than basketball. Rumors of Clark's massive offer, one that could be over 20 times higher than what many of her peers, and have sent shockwaves across the league. For a rookie to secure such a deal feels unprecedented, and while some see it as the dawn of a new era, others quietly question what it means for fairness in the sport. After all, veteran stars who have carried the league for years, names like Angel Reese and Joe Wilson, are reportedly earning between $150,000 and $200,000 per season. Suddenly, one signature contract has highlighted a financial gap too wide to ignore. Angel Reese, never shy about speaking her mind, even hinted on social media. But years of dedication can feel overshadowed when a newcomer is handed a golden ticket. Can we really blame her? While Clark's arrival has undeniably transformed the attention on the WNBA, the emotional toll on players who have fought, grinded, and sacrificed for years without seeing the same rewards cannot be overlooked. It raises a question: is this just the price of progress or the start of a deeper divide? Yet for all the whispers of tension, there's another side to this story. Clark's breakthrough is also being celebrated as a moment of change. The Cage women's basketball has pushed for better pay, better marketing, and greater visibility. If one young star's influence can finally force leagues, owners, and broadcasters to recognize the value of the women's game, isn't that something to celebrate? Perhaps Clark is not stealing the spotlight, but simply holding up a torch bright enough for everyone to share. The timing also adds intrigue. The WNBA in its 28th season is still fighting for mainstream dominance. Owners have been slow to invest, cautious to expand, and hesitant to pour in the key kind of resources men's leagues have enjoyed for years. In that sense, Clark's extraordinary deal may be less about her alone and more about proving that women's sports can no longer be treated as a side project. Still, one can't ignore the emotions bubbling beneath the surface: pride, excitement, and and even frustration are all colliding around Clock's sudden rise. Is this the breakthrough moment the WNBA has been waiting for, or the spark of new rivalries behind the scenes? One thing is for sure, Caitlin Clark has become the center of the conversation, and women's basketball may never be the same again. But what makes Caitlin Clark's star power unstoppable, sparking record-breaking bids and fierce competition? Stay glued to your screen to find out. Caitlin Clark sparks bidding wars and breaks records. Anyone paying attention knows Caitlin Clark isn't just another promising rookie. She's a phenomenon reshaping the landscape of women's basketball. The so-called Clark effect has been nothing short of explode. If from her very first professional game, arenas swelled with eager fans forcing venue changes just to hold the crowd's attendance, numbers skyrocketed by nearly 50%, and suddenly the WNBA wasn't just making headlines for box scores, but for record-breaking viewership. IP Clock's games regularly attracted over 1 million eyes on screen, numbers unheard of in the league's history. But her influence didn't stop at ticket sales. Jerseys with her name were gone within hours of hitting the shelves, setting new records, and basketball apparel clips of her no-look passes and deep threes flooded social media, turning every highlight into viral content. She wasn't just raising the profile of her team, the Indiana Fever, she was injecting energy into the entire league, pulling in younger audiences and fans who had never watched a WNBA game before. In many ways, her arrival felt like a gift, a spark long awaited to ignite women's sports into mainstream conversation. And yet with fame comes opportunity and competition. While the WNBA celebrated the Clock wave, other leagues were taking notice. To one surprising contender was Ice Cube's Big Three, a men's 3-on-3 league featuring former NBA stars. Known for its tough, no-nonsense style, Big Three had never pursued a female athlete at this level until Caitlin Clark. The offer, reportedly 6 times higher than what retired NBA legends in the league were making. To put it into perspective, the Big Three's top players earned between $100,000 and $500,000 a season. For Clark, Cube was allegedly ready to break the mold with a deal that would have dwarfed anything the league had previously seen. Why such boldness? Because Cube and his camp recognized what many already knew: Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement, a brand, or charisma, and her ability to attract audiences of all ages made her more valuable than marquee names who'd spent years in the NBA spotlight. And while scheduling conflicts with the WNBA season meant any crossover deal would be complicated, the sheer fact that such an offer was publicly floated shows just how disruptive her presence has become in the basketball world. So what does this mean for the future? Could Caitlin Clark remain the WNBA's brightest star while simultaneously testing her power in other leagues? Or will the tug-of-war between established institutions and ambitious newcomers push her career into uncharted territory? One thing is certain: wherever Clark decides to dribble next, fans, brands, and even rival players will be watching closely, because Caitlin Clark isn't just shaping games, she's shaping the future of women's basketball itself. But what drove Caitlin Clark's bold decision shaking the basketball world could change everything. Stay connected. Caitlin Clark's bold choice sent shockwaves through basketball. This was not just another contract quietly slipped across the table. It was a statement, loud, daring, and meant to shake the very core of basketball. Ice Cube, the visionary behind the Big Three, had his eyes on Caitlin Clark, and he wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers to get her. With the league filled with former NBA heavyweights and legends like Lisa Leslie and Nancy Lieberman already gracing the courts, Cube believed Clark could bring something entirely new: star power that transcended gender, age, and even sports themselves. Her game wasn't simply women's basketball, it was a magnet pulling fans from every corner of the sporting world. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Clark wasn't dazzled by the promises of fame or even the money. She politely declined Cube's ambitious vision, choosing instead to plant her roots in the WNBA. In an era where athletes often jump leagues for quick glory or financial gain, Clark's decision spoke volumes. It showed loyalty, purpose, and a belief in something bigger than herself. She didn't just see the WNBA as a paycheck, she saw it as her home base, the place to grow, compete, and elevate an entire generation of athletes. Of course, this left Unrivaled, the much talked about a new women's league, in an awkward position. At first, Clock seemed like an afterthought to that grand plans, with most of their roster already filled. Whispers began. Had they underestimated her? Or are they waiting for just the right moment, perhaps after her rookie season, to make their move? No one knows for sure. But one thing is clear. When they returned with a jaw-dropping $75 million offer, they understood they weren't just chasing another player. They were chasing history. For fans, this move highlighted something rare in sports today: principle over paycheck. Clark could have cashed in early, but instead she chose stability, competition, and the chance to grow the WNBA from within. Her commitment set a new gold standard for loyalty in an industry often defined by who can offer the biggest deal. Yet the rumors and speculation refused to die down. What if Clark had joined Cube's Big Three? Would it have sparked a cultural crossover moment, blending men's and women's basketball on a stage never seen before? Or what if she had embraced Unrivaled earlier, becoming that day one superstar and rewriting their launch story entirely? The questions linger, and maybe that's part of the magic. What we do know is this: Caitlin Clark has become more than just a rookie sensation. She's a symbol of ambition, loyalty, and vision. Whether rejecting Cube's offer or weighing Unrivaled megadeal, every decision she makes feels less like a business move and more like a legacy. And the making fans aren't just watching her career, they're watching a movement unfold, one choice at a time. So what do you think made Caitlin Clark risk it all with this shocking Unrivaled deal? Was it money, fame, or something else entirely? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.